Hey, welcome back to the Deep Dive. In today's whirlwind, carving out moments for ourselves can feel like a luxury, can't
Oh,
it?
absolutely. I really can.
But what if there was a deceptively simple tool, something, you know, readily available, that could be a real game changer for your mental well-being?
I think I know where you're going with this. We're taking a deep dive into the power of journaling today, right?
Exactly. Exploring how consistently writing down your thoughts and feelings can be, well, a surprisingly effective strategy for navigating the complexities of modern life.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but there's a lot to it.
And for this, we've been looking at the Lestallian Journal notebook for mental wellness again. We've mentioned them before.
Hmm,
It's more than just like a place to jot things down. It's really about intentionally using a journal to support your mental and emotional health.
that's right. We've spent some time with these Lestallian journals, and their features are really thoughtfully integrated. They stand out.
Yeah, they do.
As we discuss the benefits of journaling, you'll see how these details, things like the paper, the layout, they aren't just nice additions. They actually kind of actively enhance the practice and make it more supportive.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Mhm.
At its core, how does the simple act of, writing in a notebook become this powerful tool for our mental well-being?
Well, consider this. A journal specifically designed for mental wellness, like the Lestallian, gives you a dedicated and private space, like a sanctuary.
A sanctuary, I like that.
Yeah, it becomes your personal place where you can really uh, delve into your thoughts, track the sort of nuances of your emotional landscape,
Yeah.
and even consciously set intentions for how you want to feel or what you want to achieve.
It's almost like having an ongoing dialogue with yourself, but,
Mhm.
captured on paper.
Precisely. And the physical act of writing down your feelings,
Yeah.
that can be profoundly helpful in processing thoughts that might otherwise just circulate endlessly, contributing to stress.
Right, just going round and round in your head.
Exactly. It's a way to externalize them, to gain a bit of distance, which can lead to significant self-discovery. You start to identify recurring patterns, maybe understand your triggers better,
Hmm.
and perhaps even uncover solutions that just weren't apparent before.
And it's not solely about addressing the negative stuff, is it? I mean, the idea that regularly engaging with a journal promotes self-compassion and strengthens our mental resilience,
Yeah.
that sounds incredibly valuable.
It is indeed very valuable. When you consistently engage with your inner world in a supportive environment, you naturally cultivate more kindness toward yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You acknowledge your challenges, maybe celebrate even minor accomplishments, and you build that inner fortitude to navigate future difficulties.
And a journal like Lestallian's, with its quality feel, you mentioned the paper, it is thick, durable,
Mm-hmm.
the sleek design too.
Yeah.
It kind of encourages that daily interaction, doesn't it? Fostering a consistent practice.
It really does. The physical object matters. It makes you want to use it.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. We hear a lot about the benefits, but is there solid research that actually backs this up, like scientifically?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a growing body of compelling research, areas like expressive writing, for instance.
Expressive writing, okay.
And the findings consistently indicate a strong connection between regularly putting your thoughts and feelings on paper
Hmm.
and experiencing tangible reductions in stress,
Mm.
improvements in overall mood, and an enhanced ability to manage anxiety. Some studies even suggest physiological benefits.
Wow, like actual physical changes.
Yeah, things like reduced activity in the amygdala, that's the brain region linked to fear and stress responses.
That's fascinating. So it's not just feeling better, it's potentially changing brain activity.
Exactly. What's particularly noteworthy is how this process allows you to safely externalize those internal thoughts.
Right. Get them in
Instead of them being trapped and maybe amplified inside your head, they exist on the page. You can look at them, review them, process them. This act of writing can contribute to greater mental clarity, definitely improved emotional regulation, so better ability to manage your responses,
Okay.
and stronger coping mechanisms when life, throws challenges your way.
So it's like taking that often turbulent internal landscape and mapping it out almost, making it more manageable.
That's a great way to put it, mapping it out. And through consistent journaling, you can begin to recognize negative thought patterns as they emerge.
You can literally see them written down.
You can. You see them recurring in your entries, and this heightened awareness is the crucial first step towards consciously challenging and ultimately reshaping those patterns. That leads to real personal growth over time.
Yeah, you can't change what you don't see.
Precisely. And features in the Lestallian Journal, like the numbered pages and that built-in table of contents, they become particularly valuable here.
Yeah, okay. How so?
Well, they allow you to easily revisit past entries, track your emotional journey, see the progress you've made in navigating specific issues. It provides a tangible record of your internal evolution.
That makes perfect sense. Having that organizational structure would be incredibly helpful for identifying those trends. And practically speaking, features like the line with, was it 7.5 millimeter?
7.5 millimeter.
And the dashed lines?
Right. Those contribute to a more comfortable writing experience, don't they? Less restrictive somehow. Plus, we know the Lestallian is designed to be portable, easy to carry around.
Exactly. Those seemingly minor details can significantly enhance the overall journaling experience. They make it more accessible, more enjoyable.
Which means you're more likely to stick with it.
Bingo. The line width gives you ample space. You don't feel cramped. The dashed lines offer subtle guidance without being rigid like solid lines. Fosters a more fluid but still structured process. And yeah, portability means you can capture thoughts wherever you are when they happen.
Okay, so let's delve deeper into the practical side. How does journaling specifically help manage those intense emotions and the everyday stresses we all face? From work, school, relationships. Well, think about those times you feel completely overwhelmed. Maybe after a really demanding day at work, or dealing with academic stress, or navigating a tricky personal dynamic.
Yeah, we've all been there.
A journal provides a really healthy and productive outlet for all those pent-up emotions. Instead of letting them simmer and maybe, leading to less constructive coping things,
All right.
you can articulate them, put them down in a secure, private space.
It's like pressing pause on that internal whirlwind and actually giving voice to those feelings, even if it's just on the page.
Exactly. And in doing that, you can often disrupt those negative thought cycles that keep you stuck in anxiety or frustration.
How does that work exactly? Disrupting the cycle.
By writing them down, you're taking them out of that repetitive loop in your mind. You create a space to examine them more objectively. Maybe identify solutions, gain new insights, or simply acknowledge the emotion without judgment.
Ah, okay. So it breaks the pattern.
Yeah. This daily practice acts like a release valve for those intense feelings. Over time, it can lessen their overall intensity and give you a greater sense of emotional control.
It's almost like actively training your brain to process emotional experiences in a healthier way.
Mm.
And I can see how the Lestallian Journal, with its comfortable, soft faux leather cover,
Yeah.
could become a comforting object, right? Something you reach for.
Exactly. It establishes that positive association with your stress management routine. It becomes reliable, supportive. It reminds me of a friend, actually. She started a new high-pressure job, and she was feeling incredibly stressed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she told me she felt constantly anxious, wasn't sleeping well, so she started using a journal each evening before bed, just writing down whatever anxieties were on her mind.
Did it help?
She said it did. She found that just the act of getting those worries out of her head and onto the page helped quiet her mind enough to fall asleep. And she felt noticeably calmer approaching the next day.
Wow. That's a powerful example. Simple practice, real benefits. Now, one area that a lot of people find impactful is gratitude journaling. How does actively focusing on what we're thankful for actually help our mental wellness?
Gratitude journaling is particularly effective because it directly influences where you put your attention, your focus.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on what's wrong or what you feel you're lacking, you're actively training your mind to recognize and appreciate the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small they seem.
So it's deliberate shift.
A very deliberate shift.
Right.
And it cultivates feelings of positivity, contentment, and an overall sense of peace.
It's like consciously recalibrating your internal compass towards the good stuff.
Precisely. And those brief moments of positive reflection, they add up. They accumulate over time, leading to a significant improvement in your overall mental state.
Yeah.
It's not about denying challenges exist, obviously. It's about creating a more balanced perspective by acknowledging the good that's still there alongside them.
And in a journal like Lestallian's, with those smooth, thick pages we talked about, it really feels like a nice, dedicated space for those positive thoughts, doesn't it?
It does. It makes the practice feel a bit more special, maybe, more intentional.
It sounds like a valuable daily ritual. It actually makes me think of my grandmother. During a really tough time in her life, she started writing down 3 things she was grateful for each day, just in a simple notebook back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She wasn't one for big pronouncements, but she often mentioned how, even on the absolute worst days, making that conscious effort to find small comforts like a warm cup of tea, a kind word from a neighbor, the flowers in her garden.
Mm-hmm.
It subtly shifted her perspective. It didn't magically fix her problems, but it gave her these little anchors of positivity to hold on to.
That's a wonderful illustration. Those small anchors can make all the difference. It shows the subtle yet profound impact of gratitude.
Definitely.
Now, looking beyond just expressing emotions and cultivating positivity, how can a journal help us track our mental health journey and, our progress with self-care?
That makes sense because, like we said, mental wellness isn't a destination, is it? It's an ongoing process. Self-awareness, care.
Exactly. And a journal provides a structured framework for that. To monitor your emotional state, keep track of your self-care practices, reflect on personal growth over time.
So it makes you more accountable to yourself.
It really does. It empowers you to become more accountable to your own well-being goals. By regularly documenting how you're feeling, what self-care activities you're doing, you start to see what actually works for you.
Right. What truly resonates.
Yeah. You can identify patterns in mood swings, recognize triggers for negative emotions, but also observe which activities consistently bring you relief.
Like exercise or meditation or maybe just quiet time.
Exactly. Whether it's physical exercise, mindfulness meditation, time in nature, creative hobbies, whatever it is.
And this is where the Lestallian Journal's features come in handy again. The numbered pages in table of contents.
Yes, precisely. They make it incredibly easy to flip back, revisit past entries, track progress in specific areas, maybe anxiety levels or sleep patterns, or how often you manage that walk in nature. It helps you stay organized on that ongoing journey, supports that sense of personal accountability.
That level of organization would be invaluable. It's not just writing it down and forgetting it. It's about being able to look back and learn from your own experiences. Now, what about those times when we feel stuck, procrastinating on things we know would actually be good for our mental well-being? Can journaling help there?
Oh, absolutely. Procrastination can be a huge barrier to mental wellness, right? It often leads to more stress, more anxiety because of those looming unaddressed tasks.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So a journal can be a really helpful tool in breaking that cycle. It gives you a dedicated space to break down those overwhelming to-do lists into smaller, more manageable steps.
Like bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, exactly. By setting specific goals and tracking your progress towards them right there in your journal, you transform these abstract intentions into concrete actions. You build momentum.
It's like taking that big, scary task and dissecting it into achievable mini goals on the page.
That's it. And the act of physically writing down those actionable steps can significantly reduce that feeling of being overwhelmed. It boosts your sense of control.
Right.
Furthermore, the quality design and, ample pages of a Lestallian journal create a very conducive environment for this kind of goal setting and habit building.
How so? The environment.
Well, the tactile experience, the feeling of having a substantial, pleasant space to work in, it can make the process feel more tangible, less daunting, more serious, perhaps.
That makes sense. And, I remember a time when I was really struggling to get enough sleep consistently. It felt like this huge, elusive goal. I started using a journal, and each day I'd just write down my target bedtime and then, honestly, track if I hit it or not.
Okay. Simple tracking.
Yeah. Seeing that visual record on the page, even when I missed the mark, helped me see patterns. Like, when I do X, I stay up later. It helped me make small adjustments. Over time, that simple act of journaling really did make a difference in building a healthier sleep habit.
That's a perfect example. That intentionality, that consistent tracking.
Yeah.
It leads to real behavioral change. Small steps, big impact.
Yeah. So let's touch on mindfulness, the term we hear everywhere these days. How does journaling connect to this idea of being more present and aware?
It seems like the act of writing itself kind of naturally encourages us to slow down and focus, doesn't it?
It does. You have to pause to write.
Exactly. Journaling fosters a mindful approach by actively promoting self-awareness and emotional regulation. When you're writing, you are essentially observing your thoughts and feelings as they arise, without immediately judging them or analyzing them or getting swept away by them. This practice of non-judgmental observation, that's a fundamental principle of mindfulness.
So it's like creating a little buffer, a space between yourself and your immediate thoughts and feelings, giving you more capacity to respond thoughtfully instead of just reacting.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it, a buffer. And over time, this consistent practice can contribute to a significant reduction in stress and cultivate a greater sense of inner calm, of presence.
Mhm.
And again, even the choice of materials like the wood-free ivory paper in the Lestallian Journal that can subtly enhance this. It creates a more pleasant, less distracting writing experience, which further fosters that mindful reflection.
It sounds like all these different facets, managing emotions, tracking progress, building habits, cultivating mindfulness,
Yeah.
they all sort of converge on this central idea of achieving greater emotional clarity. How does journaling specifically help unlock that?
Well, reflection through journaling acts as a powerful way to organize those often complex, sometimes chaotic inner thoughts. It lets you gain fresh perspectives on challenges you might be facing.
Like shining a light into the corners of your mind.
Exactly, bringing things into sharper focus. By giving your emotions a voice on the page, you're creating a vital outlet for emotional expression. And that's absolutely fundamental for overall emotional well-being.
It's like giving your intangible feelings a tangible form so you can actually engage with them more concretely.
You got it. And a journal like Lestallion's, with its thoughtful design, its commitment to quality, it truly provides that ideal, dedicated space for this kind of expressive writing. It makes a meaningful, lasting contribution to your mental wellness journey.
So to kind of bring it all together,
Mm-hmm.
it really sounds like consistently using a journal, particularly one designed with mental well-being in mind like the Lestallian, offers a remarkably comprehensive approach to self-care.
Comprehensive is a good word for it.
We're talking about a readily accessible tool that empowers us to navigate overwhelming emotions, effectively reduce stress, cultivate deeper self-awareness, and even establish those positive habits that support our long-term well-being. And it seems Lestallian, with their premium materials and well-considered design, has really created a journal that encourages that consistent, beneficial engagement.
Absolutely. The quality of the materials, the thoughtful features like the paper, the binding, the layout, the numbered pages, they aren't just about looking nice. They're about crafting a tool that you'll actually want to use regularly.
Yeah, makes the whole process more appealing.
Exactly. Making that consistent practice of self-reflection more accessible, more enjoyable, and ultimately more impactful.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm kind of left with the thought that even dedicating just a few moments each day to consistent reflection in the pages of a dedicated journal, it could really lead to some subtle yet profound shifts in our perspective and significantly contribute to our overall well-being.
It really could.
Perhaps this is the nudge someone listening needed, to maybe explore what even a single week of daily journaling could reveal about their own thoughts and feelings,
Yeah.
the intricacies inside.
It's an invitation, really, an invitation to intentionally create that small pocket of time and space for yourself amidst all the demands of daily life.
Yeah.
And to discover the valuable insights that can emerge when you give your inner voice a consistent, supportive place to be heard.